Hi guys, we love you. Some more updates, interesting updates, and some which in my last videos that I had said there was an insider in Harris jail that probably gave some information, a snitch, a person that befriended Darian. Yes, befriended him. You know, they always do. They always do. There's always somebody there that will pretend to be on your side and believe you. And so, this is the case. Well, it's not actually proven yet, but the allegations are out there now because myself, I was wondering, how did QX suddenly say, and we don't have the proof yet that he was ever in that jail talking to Darian yet. We have not the proof yet. Allegations. QX said he went there that morning and gave him that sad story, about his daughter having this dream, and in this dream, she told her father where the body was. Oh yeah, she had this dream, and that was the night before. So this is all getting to be a bit strange, and it's getting us thinking, what the hell is going on here? And QX knows a lot of criminals. Yes, he does. He knows how to work them. He's been around them. And suddenly, he went to the jail that morning and got a confession. Well, we find this extremely odd. I'd like to see the proof, the visitation records, something like that. Because we all know that you have to sign in and out whenever you come into a jail, and talk to an inmate in their custody. So this is getting stranger by the minute. All these twists and turns and allegations that Maleah could have been found days earlier, like the 26th, and not the 31st. Now this is getting strange. Now I said there was an insider. And there's an inmate talking. Now, as we know, Quantel contacted EquiSearch and told him to get to Arkansas, that there will be the body of Maleah alongside a road just off a freeway. He was off a little bit, but he was near the location. Now, I don't know whether he just said that because of a press meeting, because they had to get ready. Because the news reporters will be there soon, because they find out everything. So he said hope. It might not have even been hope at all, because I find it strange that this black bag would have floated all the way to where it was presumed found. Yeah, this story, I'm grateful that she has been found. Yes, we are all grateful that Maleah came home. and was found and can have a proper burial. But the whole situation is getting weirder and weirder. Now, an inmate, as it says here, a Harris County Jail inmate says he supplied Houston police investigators with the Arkansas location where Darian Vince had allegedly dumped the trash bag containing little Maleah Davis' remains 5 days before she was found. The inmate, David Chalfant, or whatever, how you ever say it, is Chalfant, who is being held in the Harris County Jail, waiting his sentence, which he has been sentenced to 25 years since. This inmate, like I said, gave Houston police a tip of Maleah's whereabouts before QX did. Now this inmate, David, was awaiting transfer to a Texas prison because he has been sentenced to 25 years in prison. Told Houston Chronicle he met with investigators on the 26th of May to share information he obtained from Vince that narrowed the search for the 4-year-old's body in a rural highway near Hope, which eventually she was found in Fulton. Like I said, not too far away. But authorities didn't start their search in the neighboring state until May the 31st, when Houston activist QX told authorities that Vince had given him the location. By then, the Arkansas Department of Transportation contractors near the Interstate 30, who had already seen a discarded bag and ignored it. And we all heard the horror story, hit the bag with the lawnmower, scattering the remains along the grassy embankment about 13 miles west of Hope. More than 300 miles northeast of Maleah's hometown in Houston. Says they waited too long, said David, the inmate. And this guy was sentenced to 25 years in prison for aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon. Yeah, he's done big time crime. And allegedly, he got this information and talked to investigators. So we don't know the true story of how this went down. Who told what, who had what information at what time. Were they already talking to investigators in Arkansas? Were they already talking? And did they have the remains earlier? We don't know what the hell they were doing in Arkansas. There was a child missing, And normally, cleanup crew clean up, no matter if it's a dead animal or not. They are the cleanup crew, and they are to pick up all the trash, whether it be discarded animals or not. Their job is to clean up. Now, if this bag was there and the lawnmower run over it, well, they weren't doing their job right, were they? Because we know, and they obviously been told, that, dead bodies do get discarded along freeways, off the freeways. You never know where you're going to find a dead body. So you must pay attention to what's in a bag. I mean, people discard their animals in a bag alive and toss them to the side in rivers, in lakes. And I just don't know how that happened. I really don't. No disrespect, but they weren't doing their job right. Or they did report a smell, a foul smell in a black bag. They had reported it days before. And I don't know why they didn't look in the bag to see what was in it. And another I can't understand is, if this bag with this body in it had been there all the time, I don't know how it wasn't torn apart, by animals. Because those wild animals come out at night. And, well, we know what animals do. So was that bag there all the time? Had it been moved? Because we know murderers, killers always come back to the scene of the crime, or wherever they dumped their body. They come back for some reason. Now, did anybody come back there? Did anybody move the body from Hope to Fulton? We don't know. But that could have happened, in my opinion. We can't rule out anything right now. We can't rule out anything. Now, anybody driving around that area may have seen something. May have seen a car just stop by for a couple of minutes. You never know. Somebody must have some video of something, spotted something. It doesn't matter how small you think it is. Now, there is one person, I think it's a woman, that said she had seen Vince in the area. But that is not, I don't know if that's confirmed, whether it's the right person or not yet. But that's just another rumor that's going around. So we have to, not forget about these tips that's come in. Any tip is better than nothing. A tip is something to go on until proven otherwise. Now, they said, he also says he believes if they have acted on Sunday or Monday, this would never have happened, meaning the body wouldn't have been run over and discarded in different areas in the grass. The executive assistant chief Troy Finner said during the news conference later on the 31st of May that their investigators had not been to Arkansas until that day. That's what they're claiming. Yeah, they may have not been there that day. He may not be lying about that. But there's a big question here. Whenever a state finds a body, that they normally take possession of it, and it takes time for an investigation. It takes time for paperwork to go through, cut the red tape. You know, the red tape, because this body was taken over state lines. Now, normally it takes a while for a body to be handed over and taken back to another state. There's laws. Now, I never heard about the FBI getting involved. Investigators, but where was the FBI? How come they went and got a private jet, EquiSearch, paid for that jet to take the detectives? Because, you know, they knew it was Maleah. They knew already, and they were going there to take possession of this body. That was their goal. And no sooner than they got there, they got the body and they were flying back. Now, how does that happen? How did that ever happen? Okay, maybe Arkansas said they don't want to do the autopsy. They don't want to do the DNA. They don't want the expense. But that's their obligation. That's their job. Now, I just like to know how fast they got this body and was brought back to Houston so fast. I know that they went there and identified the body by garments, clothing. However they identified her body, they knew it was her body. They just needed confirmation, like DNA. But even so, they got little Maleah's body back so fast. And that's a miracle. And another thing, the police spokesman, Keith Smith, declined on Wednesday to comment on the tip because of the ongoing investigation. Based on the evidence, Vince's lawyer, Darion Cutler, said he has reviewed. He has no reason to dispute David Chalfat's account, the inmate that gave the tip on the 26th of May. Mind you, he's a convicted felon. He is serving 25 years and it was waiting transfer to a Texas prison. And Quanto QX likely learned nothing from Vince that the police didn't already know. Now, what's that saying? What is that saying? This inmate apparently, like I said earlier, met with homicide detectives on the 26th of May and again on the 30th of May, Cutler said. See, OTLAR. It appears that the law enforcement already had the location of the body before QX went in there and didn't act on it. Now, mind you, Vince, Darian Vince, his charges have not been upgraded at this time, as it's an ongoing investigation, and they were waiting for the autopsy, the results on that, if they can determine the cause of death. But since then, the funeral arrangements have been made for the 22nd of June. So the body is going to be released for the burial, which we know that is happening very soon, in a week or so. So the autopsy has been done. We don't know at this time. It has not been released and probably will not be released. Probably has been sealed. And, we all know there's gag orders on everything. So, but, as we're thinking, we might never know the cause of death. Now, speculation and rumors and our opinions are going around that we are wondering how she died because of his statement that Maleah didn't suffer. She didn't suffer. Now, that's the part I don't understand. So now they're saying she died in her sleep because she had the flu. Oh yeah, she had the flu, did she? But then again, you so-called parents, guardians of this child, didn't do anything because she had the flu. Look at her in that picture on the 30th. No coat on, no helmet on, running behind Darian towards their home, their apartment. She had no jacket on, yet she had the flu. So you let her just run around by herself with no little jacket on or nothing, and she was sick with the flu. Now we know what it's like to be sick with the flu. We just want to curl up in bed and, keep warm and drink. Now, she could have been dehydrated. Now, she could have had a brain hemorrhage that might have killed her instantly. She wasn't wearing that helmet, and she could have got another slap on the head before we know. It was an accident, and she didn't suffer. Now, we don't know for 100% sure if that's what Darian said, because this is QX words. Now, they're his statements at this time, so we don't know what to believe. So they're not actual confirmed that he said that she didn't suffer. But the flu part is true. It's because QX didn't get that from Darian. This is what the biological father said Darian said. Okay? Now, that's not coming from Darian in the jail. That was already public knowledge. Now, remember that, guys. It was already public knowledge. Now, a lot of this stuff was already public knowledge. And QX has been accused by Britney for lying on national TV at those interviews about allegations of abuse and sexual abuse. Now, she retracted that and said she never said that. But she didn't stop him neither. Now, because of her actions, we, the public, don't believe nothing she says anymore. And we believe that this child was abused and there's nothing more she can do about that. She already done the damage by not stopping QX from saying those words. Sexual abuse, and all kinds of things like that we heard. She never stopped him saying it. And at the beginning, she was defending him, believing him. And then she let QX speak on her behalf. And she's saying that he was lying. Now, we don't know for sure at this time who was doing the abusing. Who was doing the abusing? Because as far as we know, we can't prove which one did the abusing. Because it's he said, she said right now. Well, it's more she said than he said. Because he's not talking. Now, he also said, Darian Vince also said he's got the court date coming up and more information will be coming out then. But don't hold your breath because a lot of things are getting sealed and a gag order put on. So this case don't get messed up and to find a jury if it goes to trial. And this thing about moving it out of the county, wow. Moving it out the county is not gonna do no good. Everybody knows about the case, okay? So it's too high profile to worry about moving it out of the state. Not out of the state, but out of the county. You're just gonna have to try it in your county. If it ever goes to trial, that is. Because you never know. It might not go to trial yet. We'll see what he pleads to. We'll see what he's offered. Because he's stating that he's innocent of doing any wrongdoing to her. But we don't know if he's the one that actually took the body to Arkansas yet. That's not been proven yet. But you know, we know what we're thinking, but we don't know who else was involved yet. So, and he holds the key. He holds the key because he's the one that's seen with Maleah, and he is seen taking his children, the boys, out of the house without Maleah, and he also seen with a laundry basket and coming back minutes later and then leaving that evening, early evening. No Maleah. So it's not looking too good for him, is it? But he had help. He had help because apparently, you know, the car, the Ultima, was seen that day, which was a Saturday, driving around and was saw on surveillance camera about 2-something in the afternoon. 2-something. I assume it was 2 in the afternoon. 2-something in the afternoon. But it was at the time when Darian was in the truck with the 3 Mexicans that he accused of kidnapping him when he went missing for 24 hours. So how is that? No. He'd already had time to drive to Arkansas and drive back. So he was back in town. Somebody had that car and driving it around. And we all know the bogus story about 3 Mexicans kidnapping him in a blue truck around the 2010 model. That's very good. He's got a good memory on that one. So, but kidnappers aren't going to drive around town in a stolen vehicle like la-di-da-di-da and take one child and not take the other. They're not going to waste their time. Okay? They're not going to waste their time on bothering with a little baby and you. So we all know his story's bogus right there and then. At first it could be believable because it does happen. But they usually don't, want to take you along and give you some scratches like you've been in the bush, like scratches that were made by a razor. It's got jagged edges. Yeah, it looks like you took a razor blade and cut yourself all over. But that was stupid because ain't no kidnappers gonna make all those marks like that. Because you never said they did. What you said was they smacked you around a little bit. You never said they used razor blades on you. Lifted your shirt up and scratched the whole body, your back, your front, your leg, your God knows what. Oof. Yeah. And they healed pretty good for one day. They wouldn't even red a fresh wound. No. They were day-old wounds. You had a lot of days to do that. Yeah. You had a lot of days to make them wounds, and those wounds were not fresh wounds. Now, if you were seen in that hospital, I'd hope to God that somebody documented everything and took pictures because of this violent crime was committed. So you said. So that'll all come into play. Now, apparently, this 50-year-old inmate, David, that's how old he is, so he's probably a long-time criminal, and he's just got 25 years. So, apparently, Vince is supposed to be in security, right, in his cell. Because, after all, the inmates are after him. They call him nasty names. They wish death upon him, I guess. He's a child killer. And, of course, he didn't have no friends in there because, everybody knows about this case. Rumors and news travels fast. And apparently, Vince strolled down to David's door as early as May the 22nd. And, these words are used to score some extra chow. Well, get some food. But the thing is, didn't Darion allegedly say that he can't eat or sleep? He can't eat or sleep. Yeah. And he is on some kind of suicide watch. Okay, they don't call it suicide watch, but he is being observed and in security, in a cell of his own, down, away from the others. So why would he be looking for some more food and some crackers when he's not eating? Because he can't eat. He can't sleep. So, okay, I just thought I'd bring that one up. Well, that's what the inmate said. He came to get some extra chow. And he handed him some soup and crackers. Well, don't you think Darian would have had his own soup and crackers? Well, eventually, Vince shared his side of what happened to the little girl, whose disappearance has captured the city and the nation and drew hundreds of thousands of people wearing pink and mourners to the city hall to pay their respects. He says, man, I didn't kill her. This is what the inmate's saying, David. DC for short. We'll call him DC for short. That's what he said. Man, I didn't kill her. He said Vince initially told him that Maleah died in her sleep and she had the flu. Died in her sleep that she had the flu. Well, this poor child, if she was sick and had the flu, like I said just a minute ago, look how she was dressed and running around. She had no helmet and no coat on. And if she had the flu, you didn't do nothing about it. Did you give her medication for her flu and poisoned her? No. We can't forget about poison or overdose. Did you give this little girl medication for her flu and you overdosed her and she died in her sleep? Now we're going to bring this up because we don't know what they gave her. What medication did they give this little girl, if any? This is just my thoughts and my opinion, that this could have happened. You could have gave her something. Is this what you're going to say now? That you gave her some medication and she must have had a reaction to it? Oh yeah, here that comes. Here that one comes. This inmate, this informer, this insider said there was among a few inmates on the 6th floor who were hounding Vince with threats. And he won't talk to anyone else. Most of the guys who are screaming at him, calling him a baby killer. And Vince looks nothing like the men he's seen behind bars. Oh dear. So he's saying Vince don't look like a criminal, I guess. He's saying he doesn't look like the type of person that should be in jail or has ever been in jail. As far as we know, Darian Vince has not been in jail before or convicted of any crime before or petty or anything to do with drugs. As far as we know, he has a clean record and he hasn't been charged or caught And maybe he is an upstanding citizen. There's nothing wrong with that. Not everybody has a criminal record. People smoke some weed and stuff. I don't see nothing wrong with that. As long as you don't involve the children and give them drugs and smoke in front of them and stuff like that. Have some respect for your children. But they smoked cigarettes, though. And they both said they smoked outside. So at least they smoked outside. Just saying. They smoked their cigarettes outside and not in front of the kids. Well, that's a good thing. This inmate, David, he's like I said, he's a long-time criminal, in and out for decades, this man. He's 50 years old. His life is in and out of prison. He admitted it. That's what he's been doing. So he knows what jail's like, and he knows how prisons are, because he stated he's been behind bars a long time, in and out of prison, in and out of jail. And he says Darian looks nothing like the men he's seen behind bars. Well, no, because he probably is not a criminal, a long-time criminal, or has done anything to be in jail before. So, first time he's in jail for a serious crime. If this truly happened and she died in her sleep, you didn't call 911. You didn't call for assistance. You didn't call anybody for any help. That would be the first thing on your brain. Yeah, you might have been worried about CPS saying, oh my God, you've done something, you've killed her or something. But the thing is, that can be proven. If she had a brain hemorrhage or, anything happened to her, that could have been proven that you didn't do no wrong to her, and she could have died in her sleep through her surgeries or knocks on her head, in the past, from the abuse. She suddenly could have had a brain hemorrhage. She certainly could have. But you didn't call 911, and you didn't render help. Number one, neither of you did. Now, apparently, Vince had texted Brittany. And of course, they had this little argument over the photos and stuff like that. And Vince said, I'll talk to you later, because he didn't want to. Apparently, she's getting the mother involved, her mother involved. He's just wondering why you're getting the mother involved. Well, he's a cheater. We know that. He's been proven to be a cheater. So he's a cheater. But Brittany knew that a long time ago he's a cheater, because she's caught him and she confronted the woman, and that was over a year ago. So, and this David, the inmate, says Vince doesn't look like a murderer. He's frail. Yeah, he's frail. That's what he says. Well, yeah, he's frail, because he's not eating and he's not sleeping, and he's worried about the public not liking him and accusing him of all kinds of things. And that is no thanks to Brittany. Oh no, she's thrown him under the bus. And it could be her doing all the abuse. We don't know that yet. That's my opinion. Just stating my opinion. We don't know that yet. We don't know what she did to her child. If he didn't abuse this kid, or sexually abused this kid, why did you not stop QX from making these allegations? And also, QX says he can prove that Brittany did not harm her daughter because there is proof that Maleah was seen alive while she was in Massachusetts. Yes, guys. But there's another side to that story, is because Brittany says she has no proof that Maleah was alive after she left for Massachusetts. Now, which is it? First of all, you said, or QX said, that they have a picture of Maleah outside on video, or a photo of Maleah. So Brittany could never have harmed her child. Excuse me. Where is this photo? This could stop us thinking that she has something to do with Maleah's murder. If only you could produce this picture. That's all you have to do. You just need to produce this photo. Produce this photo. But you can't, can you? You can't produce this photo because it seems like it don't exist. Now, it might exist, and this is why the police haven't arrested you yet. Just in my opinion. Allege. But you're not saying that now, you see. You're not saying this. You said that at first. Well, QX said it. You were just going along with your head down, not saying nothing. Put your head down while he's giving this statement to the press, which I feel myself, QX was talking too much without proof and facts. And then we all know later that he stopped speaking on her behalf because he called her a liar. See? Well, he said she wasn't telling the truth, or half-truths, whichever it may be. That he don't believe her anymore. Now, he don't know what to believe anymore. Now, we all know what he said. What he's accusing her of, her lack of emotions, her lack of, her inability to cry or have these emotions and the love and speak her daughter's name. So where's this photo? I'm waiting for this photo. We've seen a video of Maleah on the 30th, a photo that they have released. We've seen a video of on the 2nd of May of Vince coming out smoking a cigarette and discarding it, throwing it over his fence, to his patio, and bringing the boys out moments later with their coats on. Yeah, with their coats on, nice and warm. But when we see Maleah, she didn't even have her helmet on to protect her head. She didn't even have a coat. And supposedly she had the flu. Now, this ain't making sense, is it? The picture don't look right. The kids have got coats on, nice and warm. Yet Maleah's got no jacket on, no coat on, and no helmet on. I don't know. I'm just pointing that out. It don't look good. It don't look right. And then there's, when she left, Now her friend Jeanette, her best friend, supposedly came to pick her up that day to take her to the airport. But now there's a dispute in the timeline. Now, at first, we thought she left at 9:30 a.m. That gave her about an hour and a half in the home with Maleah, because she says she never see her come in. But if she's in the home that long, surely why didn't she see her? How come this child came in and went into her room or a room and never came out of it? We don't even know where this child went. She came in and didn't say a word. She didn't run up to her mom and say, "Hi, Mom. I need a drink. I'm cold. I'm not feeling good. I'm going to be sick," or anything. But then, now they're saying, she's saying, Brittany, that she left at 8:30. Now her friend Jeanette said she picked her up at 9:30. Now those timelines, I don't know which one's telling the truth. Now we don't know if that Jeanette came into the home. Or did she wait in the car and text her, "I'm outside waiting for you"? I don't know how that went down. But Brittany says that Darian walked out with her. But there was no Maleah. Now, I don't know if there's any video of this, because it seems like people got out of this apartment without anybody seeing them. Now, I don't know if there's 2 parking lots, but there's only one entrance. But you could have got out the window. But why would somebody want to get out the window? Sneak out the window? Who does that? Have they ever snuck out the window before? Snuck out the window so they don't be seen? Any normal person just walks out the home. But if they got something to hide, does that mean they both sneaked out the window? Because Darian was seen going to his car in the parking lot on a video at around 8:53. Now, I'm not sure if he just went to the vehicle to get something out of the car that morning, but he didn't have Maleah with him. He must have left her in the apartment, because Maleah wasn't with him. So you leave the child alone in the apartment. Well, she was 4, and you're not going very far. But did Darian leave in that vehicle? Because I'm not sure if he left in that vehicle. Anybody know? Did he leave and go somewhere in that in that car after he's seen on the video? But I don't see Brittany with him going to the going to the car that video shows. Now, Brittany said they walked out together. Now, where was Jeanette? Where's the car that she was going to get into? So Vince went to the vehicle, but I'm not sure if he left. He just went to get something and then come right back and went back to the apartment. So, you mean to say Vince didn't tell Brittany, "Hey, I brought Maleah home"? Because apparently Maleah hasn't been to school. And if Maleah had the flu, she wouldn't be going to school, would she? No, she was sick. But Brittany's saying she should have been at school, at daycare. She should have been at daycare. Now he's saying she had the flu. She was sick with the flu. Well, you wouldn't send your kid to school and send them out. And she's poorly anyway. Now she's got the flu, and you send her out with no helmet on and no jacket. Nothing to keep her warm. Now, like I said, that Sunday, May the 26th, when that David, the inmate, the insider, said he twice met with the investigators. The first time was to flag their attention to Arkansas, and the second meeting was to pinpoint where the remains could be found. He met with the investigators again on the 30th of May and was asked to don a wire. I don't know what that means. To don a wire and talk to Vince in the morning. He agreed, but never heard back from the authorities. The next day, QX announced that he had garnered a confession and supplied it to the law enforcement. Police later announced that a child remains has been found in Arkansas. And this inmate believes his tip preluded whatever information QX supplied to authorities after meeting with Vince the morning of the 31st. Now this is getting stranger. And this is probably why that they have subpoenaed QX phone records. They want to know exactly who he was speaking to, who he was texting to, because he's taken all the credit for this. He has taken all the credit. But now we got this new information, allegations, allege that this inmate was the one that was doing the talking. And of course, QX found out about it because he knows inmates inside this prison. He's got connections, and I don't know if it's one way to get the money or not, because QX can't get the money because he's a community activist. But if an inmate gets the money, he can give the money to Vince. Not to Vince. He can give the money to QX. Yeah, they go a long way around it. And that's why he can get the money. He will give him the money. But this man is, if he does the right thing, he won't accept this reward. But he has to be proven the one that gave this information in the first place, because there's going to be an investigation on what went on in this jailhouse. Who said what? The investigators talked to him. That can be even proven that this ever happened. Yeah. Surely will be proved. And will there be a cover-up? I don't know. Why should there be a cover-up? Well, there might be a cover-up. And now the investigators have got to invest the investigators. Because it just seems that way. If this story is true, I'm saying, if this story is absolutely true. Because now QX stands by, he's the one that got the confession. He stands by that. Yep, he stands by that. Now, by the time QX got out of there at 9 a.m. in the morning, because apparently he went there early in the morning, and, Darion's lawyer said about an hour later, Hempstead County Sheriff James Singleton in Arkansas said Houston police notified him that Maleah's remains could be in the jurisdiction near the exit. Near the exit 30 of Interstate 30, which leads directly into Hope. A massive search at the exit turned up nothing, but Singleton sent a deputy to another exit near Fulton. It said, once you cross the Red River Bridge, you can cross exit 18 and go to Hope. Singleton said, I sent a deputy to exit 18 and he found it. By the time authorities reached the junction, the work crew had been gone, but the lawn had been cut. Then they say, because the grass was so high, they didn't see the bag. But the grass cutter had already done the damage. But the grass was so high. But you know what? There's other people saying that they cut the grass regularly. So how could it be that high? I don't know. They can't cut the grass regularly, because it wouldn't get that high. So when was the last time they did cut the grass? Because, isn't Arkansas a warm state? I don't know, but if it rains a lot, the grass does get long. When it rains a lot, the grass grows faster and you have to cut it more often. So how did the grass get so high that they couldn't see this black bag first time around? But it all comes down to the crew, the cleanup crew that have been hired to do a job, clean the freeway up from trash and the side roads, the exit roads, keep it neat and tidy. And, they discard a bag and run over it with a grass cutter. Instead of getting off and putting it to the side, they'd rather run over it, which is a shame. And I hope that man feels as guilty as hell for not paying attention and not bothering looking in it. And even if it was animals, a dog or something in there. I mean, my God, don't you feel anything? Even if it was an animal in there. What kind of person just run over a bag? I mean, you didn't know what was in that bag. It could have been something really heavy, metal or something. I don't know. Anyway, maybe he should be fired. That's what I say. You can't do your job right. Obviously, you can't if that's what you're doing. So you're not really picking up trash from the roadside. You're just scattering it everywhere. But this time, it was a real body of a little girl that was missing. And, the founder of EquuSearch, Tim Miller, said that after the discovery that he was unsure if a cause of manner of death could ever be determined because of the condition of Maleah's body. Yeah, he even knew when he went there on this jet that they hired out, this plane, that he knew it was Maleah's body. And they brought that body back within hours. That's unusual. No, we're beginning to think, was this a setup? You know, the coroner's van, the police, the red, the yellow tape, crime scene tape. Was this a setup? Because they already knew what they had found. That's why they released the body so fast. Because they just came to pick the body up. They just came to pick the body up. But that was nice that they did that and brought the body back. Not at the expense of Houston, Texas, but at the expense of private citizens' donations that chartered this plane to go pick Maleah up. And she was brought home in style, first class. And Tim Miller, like I said in my last video, I bet he was heartbroken. And he did say he was heartbroken. He was heartbroken in that plane, and he said he didn't want to leave her. He didn't want to leave her side. He was absolutely heartbroken of what has happened to this little girl. And he knew for sure it was Maleah. He knew for sure. And we know that he knew that. But he obviously was heartbroken. He stated that in an interview. Now, this David, the inmate, said that coming forward with this information was the right thing to do, and that he didn't want no part of the reward. And he says, I'm a criminal and I have done some things, but that 4-year-old baby, other words, she needed to be found, and he had the information, and he was going to tell the investigators where she was. Even he had a heart. Now, a private funeral is scheduled for Maleah Lynn Davis on the 22nd, according to her obituary, which is going to be a private funeral. And I think we all should let them have their privacy for a little while. Let them have their Maleah Lynn Davis back and give her a decent burial, which she's going to get. Mark my words. She is going to have a beautiful funeral. And she is going to be laid to rest. And I think they need their privacy. Right now, it's been the nation's little girl. We prayed for her safe return. We got the word out. We kept talking about her. Everybody's listening, and she captured everybody's hearts. We love you, Maleah Lynn Davis. The whole world that was watching, the nation, had love for this child. They wanted a happy ending. But sadly, there was no happy ending. And let them have their day with their baby girl to grieve. I don't even think they've grieved yet. They have not grieved. That's what I'm saying. Because of everything going on and how long it's taken to release her body, find her body, and then release her body. They have not grieved yet. So they need privacy. And we should give them the privacy they need. Everybody that has been touched by this case has shown their grief and shown their respect by memorials, a walk, a tribute, all those kind of things, a balloon releasing and candlelight. And have spoken out on behalf of Maleah Lynn Davis. We've done our part. We've shown our love and respect. And also brought awareness. As I speak, other children are being killed by their parents, their caretakers, as I speak. And after Maleah's body's been found and she went missing, children have been killed in a gruesome manner. So this case, Maleah has shone a light onto the CPS, the court system, awareness. Do not keep your mouth shut. Speak up. Speak up. Don't wait. Speak up. Keep reporting. Keep reporting. Document. Videotape. Phone calls. Take copies of reports that you made. Keep pushing. Don't give up. Now, Maleah has brought this to light. Well, guys, thank you for stopping by and listening to my video. And I'd like you to share if you like and subscribe to my channel. And lastly, I'd like to thank everybody involved in the love they gave Maleah Lynn Davis and talking about it, sharing their views, all the people that came out in support, gave up their time and money to show their love and support for the family and friends of Maleah Lynn Davis, and to bring awareness to child abuse. Like I said, there's been children being killed in a gruesome way. They've been in the news, and we'd just like to bring awareness that these children have been killed brutally, and the CPS and the courts have to do something different. They have to give CPS some more help or authority. Mind you, some people that work in the CPS probably don't care. They're overworked, overstressed, and grant you that is the truth. And they are tied, their hands are tied with the law. They only can do so much, and their goal is to return children. And if they can't prove something, they have to, by law, to return the children to the abuser, whether they like it or not. And something has to be done. So let's hope they make on Maleah's law in Houston, Texas. Because these children need to be saved from this terrible abuse that they endure till their death. And believe me, it ends in their death. So once again, thank you guys for stopping by, and let's bring attention to abuse. Let's spread the